Perfect. We are live. All right. Welcome to the stream, everybody. If you don't know who I am, my name is Ryan. I am the social media manager for ChainBoost. Extremely excited today. We have an entire team with us here today. We have the Remnant Labs team. We have Kenneth. We have John. We have MW. We have people on the project side, game development side. It's going to be a fun stream. Happy to have you all tuning in today. Gentlemen, welcome to the stream. If you don't mind, go ahead and just take a minute, introduce yourselves, let us know a little bit about what you do with Remnant Labs, and also maybe tell us how you got your start in blockchain and how you got started with play to earn gaming in the first place.
Great, sure. I will start. So my name is Cypher K, also known as Kenneth. I am the project lead and CEO at Remnant Labs, play to earn fantasy anime games here. And I'll introduce myself a little bit and then my team members, John W here, and first surname also known as MW, our creative and art director, will introduce themselves after. So, so I'm the CEO and project lead at Remnant Labs. And I got started in blockchain in 2017, early 2017. It was actually a pretty funny story. So I actually found this advertisement, a hoax that Vitalik Buterin died. And I was like, who's Vitalik? I looked him up and then I immediately got into the deep end of blockchain, of what's Bitcoin, what's Ethereum. And it immediately resonated with me because ever since I was a kid, I was like, I didn't like the monetary system. It felt like a like a pyramid scheme. Like the traditional monetary system was so flawed, and I really liked the decentralization and the peer-to-peer aspect that blockchain technologies brought forward. And then we really got into blockchain gaming and NFTs. NFTs started becoming a very minor thing. It was just very new as its birth in 2017. So we had the CryptoKitties, we had the Ether Rocks, and in late 2017, we had something called Decentraland. I'm sure you're all well aware of Decentraland nowadays. Very small back then. They just had their IDO. They're doing their land sale, and the concept of virtual land as NFTs was a really new thing, and I fell in love with it. And I got invested into the virtual land with Decentraland, and eventually became a content creator for them. So our team, we participated in the hackathons, the game jams that Decentraland offered. So we got really into metaverse development in 2017, 2018, 2019, and going forward. And with our company in 2020, 2021 actually, it was we started 1 year ago, so it was 12 months ago when our company started here in Remnant Labs. We saw a lot of blockchain games surfacing. So it had the second wave essentially. So the first wave, very small, was in 2017, 2018. Now we saw the Axie Infinity and the likes of very other really big play to earn games coming, and we didn't really like how it was being done because it was blockchain first, game second, and most people were focusing on having just some random blockchain integration without the gameplay factors that make a game fun, right? So, in our opinion, as a game development studio here, we want our games to first and foremost be fun. That's where it generates the users who actually enjoy the game, and that gives it long-term sustainability. So without the fun aspect, when people are just playing to earn, that's all short-term stuff. Like it's not going to last in the long run, and that's what we didn't like in the space. So we decided, hey, let's make our own startup and create our own vision of play-to-earn games with a long-term outlook because we are all game developers, very passionate game developers. So we really wanted to develop games as well. So we were thinking, why not go into the blockchain space? Because it also allows us to use this technology in ways that we've seen is possible, but other projects are not using so much of yet. So a lot of blockchain technologies are not being really used to their full potential, I think, right now. We're really, really early in this space. And for example, one use case that we're really trying to push is interoperability between our own titles and also our partner titles. So there's a lot of other titles. We are a fantasy anime title. There's a lot of other fantasy anime titles For example, ChainGuardians, so a partner ChainBoost here, launching us. They also run ChainGuardians, also a fantasy anime title. There's a lot of opportunities for potential cross collaboration. This is something that's not happening in the traditional game space so much, and it's a lot of interesting potential. For example, in the traditional space, we can think of scenarios that will be really empowering and interesting for gamers to use their items or characters across different games, sort of bringing progress or something over to different games, such as if your favorite game, let's say it's Zelda Breath of the Wild, and you've unlocked a bunch of items, the Master Sword, and so on and so forth, you might be able to use that as a skin in another game, such as Smash Ultimate or something, in another console. And that's we think that's where the future is going. The metaverse is an interconnected space for gamers and also all types of technologies. And games are going to be more interoperable in the future. That's what I believe. So that's how we got started in blockchain, and that's the how we got it started with our company. And I think I'm going to hand it off to our lead game developer, John, now.
That was quite the introduction.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It was ad lib. I was rambling a little bit. I know. I
yeah.
apologize.
No
Oh,
worries.
don't worry about it.
Mine's gonna be much shorter though. So I'm John. I'm the game developer, doing the coding part of the game, putting everything together. Um, I collect art, UI stuff, and get them into the game. Uh, that's why I'm usually posting like the gameplay updates in the devlog. Um, let's see what else. I started in blockchain actually from Kenny, so we were all in university together, including um, some other people on our team that aren't here. And Kenny introduced me into cryptocurrency. I heard about cryptocurrency before that when Bitcoin was like $400, but I just never did anything about it. But yeah, when I got into university, met Kenny. He introduced me to it, and then a few years later, we um we started realizing that oh hey, like NFTs, games, this is coming upcoming trend. And I was studying game development at that time, and I was really into making games, and I thought, oh wow, this is like really cool. So like one of my interests, cryptocurrency, and my hobby, game development, is kind of coming together. And like, okay, we could probably do something with this. Um, so yeah, Kenny brought us along, and actually I think we're we're at about around a year since we started. So lots of, and actually yesterday I was just looking through some of the unlisted videos that we had posted, and I was able to look at some of like the timeline of updates for the game as it's going along. It's quite crazy how it's been a year. It doesn't really feel like that long, but yeah, we've come a long way, and love crypto, love game development. So yeah, John, MW.
Hey, how's it going? How's it going, guys? For those who may or may not know me, I'm MW. I am the creative director and lead story writer for Remnant Labs. Initially, I went to university for game development. That's where I met the folks, John and Kenny. Kenny was actually my roommate, which was pretty jokes. And I'm a I'm a generalist when it comes to game development, so I can program, model, and use particles or whatever. But I mostly prioritize on the 3D visual effects, so modeling, particles, shaders, the like. And when it comes to how I got started in blockchain, it was mostly just a small. It was just some small talk with Kenneth over here. He brought up the idea of what's the word, Bitcoin. And to be honest, I had no idea what that was. And he gave me his little spiel, like he usually does. And I was like, huh, this is pretty neat. Let's give it a go. And that's more or less how everything started. Just kind of a big old snowball. But yeah, that's my go.
Nice. Okay, thanks for that. I see some some comments in our chat here going, we fully expect embarrassing roommate stories.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't think we got to touch on that today,
withhold
but
some of them.
oh yeah, it's nice to hear that you guys all kind of came up together from the same space. I think that's something that a lot of different crypto projects actually have in common is it's not always a situation like the traditional space where everybody comes from all these diverse backgrounds, different parts of the world, they get hired by this one company. I'm seeing a lot more with a lot of projects, their core team especially are people that know each other, grew up together, worked together in the past, friends, family. That's one of the nice things about blockchain. It's a very tight knit space. I feel like it's very tight knit. It's very comfortable, and it's ultimately people are working very closely with people that they care about. So it adds a little bit to the space, in my personal opinion. So
Yeah, likewise. I've noticed that as well. And it's a really great thing. I've noticed lots of other play to earn projects with the same um, tight knit team there. Though it's also a double edged sword, on the other hand. It's really hard for us to search for specific vacant um, jobs for our company here, such as CMO position. I'm currently taking that up right now. And since everyone is already so tight knit in the community, it's very hard to put out a public listing for such a big role in the company, right?
yeah, definitely. Let me ask you, Kenny, before we kind of go into the next question that I have for you here, with that position that you are looking to fill, is there a place where people can go to apply for that position if they are qualified / interested?
Yeah, so we've actually managed to bring on an interim CMO as of pretty much today,
Oh,
but we are going to be putting up a listing in 2 months into the somewhere around June. And yeah, you'll be able to find it on our website.
okay, perfect. So, guys, if you are interested, if you are qualified, pay attention to Remnant's website. You might see a couple listings here coming up in the near future. All right, well, gentlemen, without further ado, let's get talking about Remnant Labs. We talked a little bit about each one of you guys, a little bit about how you guys started in blockchain. Now I want to hear a little bit about the creation of Remnant Labs. So for anybody who is watching today, maybe they're not totally familiar with Remnant Labs. What is Remnant Labs, and what is the vision that you guys have for the project?
Sure. So I'll go over basics of Remnant Labs, and then anyone else on my team can also pitch in if they want at any point. So Remnant Labs is an anime game ecosystem, anime as in Eastern Japanese cartoon style. And our team, we're really passionate about anime. That's why we decided to create an anime game there. And in our ecosystem, it has multiple games. So we're not just one play to earn game. Right now, our team is working on two titles. We have the Trials, which is live right now on the website, which is a series of mini games with leaderboard scores. And this comes back every month. So we're running the trial season 0, December last year. We've run season 1 last month, and it's still ongoing right now. And season 2 is actually starting tomorrow for an Easter event. So anyone who's watching right now, you can feel free to jump into the trials on our website and earn some rewards for the Remnant ecosystem. And we do have another one tomorrow, so you can register for that as well. And the main game, the tower defense, is called Alter Genesis. And MW, our creative director here, will go through a little bit of the Alter Genesis lore for you guys. But it takes place back in ancient civilization BC times, around Babylonian times. And we have a fantasy game world where the protagonist comes from a modern world and goes back in time. And you meet a bunch of um, unique characters. So we have a set of 8 characters right now for the alpha launch, and they all have unique personalities and unique skills, abilities that they can do. So they have magic in this world, and um, our vision, right? Sorry, I lost my track for a moment. So our vision at Remnant Labs is to be able to bring blockchain technology to the masses. So what Remnant Labs is all about is we have 4 pillars of design. So that is, we're free to play, and we are multi-chain. So we have Ethereum, Binance, Polygon. We're opening to more chains in future. So uh, we want to be accessible for everyone. So you can enjoy the entire game for free, and we're not locking anyone out. It's completely accessible. Now, if you have more of our NFTs, you have more farm power, you earn more. But if you have less, then you earn less. But we're not locking anyone out of the game. If you want to play the entire game without paying a dollar, that's fine with us as well. And we are 1 minute to start. So our focus is to allow anyone to get started immediately. We don't want anyone to download anything. So on our website, once we launch the alpha for the community that comes at the end of this month, you're going to be able to access the game within 1 minute. So it's an immediate start. I think that's really important in the space, the user experience. So the user experience in the blockchain space, the play to earn space, we found very difficult to navigate around. And a lot of other projects, when I try to get started, it takes 15 minutes, 30 minutes, sometimes an hour. You have to buy their NFTs, $200 to get started, but there's no demo, right? And then you don't know if it's going to be good or not. So for us, you're just going to be able to get started right away, 1 minute, and you have access to everything pretty much. And that's the vision for Remnant Labs. It's mass accessibility cross-platform. You can play on your browser, the PC, or on your phone through the web browser.
Another part to that is just like if a user wants to have like a non NFT experience, like they can have that, right? So that's part of like the onboarding process. Like part of our vision is to make it like really easy to just get like one person in the game as fast as possible. So
Okay, perfect. MW, anything you want to add there?
Yeah. In regards to the onboarding process, we're hopefully going to target people who aren't really interested in the NFT space, but make it a bit more generalized, more open to those who just want to play the game, right? So like a conventional gotcha game, like some of the games I were taking inspiration from, like Fate Grand Order, for example. People are able to roll for their favorite characters, have to rate a banner, rate up as a lie, etc., etc. And in this case, they have the option to opt in onto the whole NFT stuff. So it's like, okay, I want to redeem my NFTs. How do I do that? Oh, then you just link your stuff, like your address, your wallet, and then, well, not your private stuff, but the stuff you need to actually redeem the NFTs, and then bring it into our ecosystem. And vice versa. So like you can bring your NFTs from the actual website that we're implementing, we're creating the backend for, and bring it into the mobile game. So we're that's ideally the plan here, but things could always change, and some extra details here and there aren't concrete yet. But we are trying to find a way where we can balance it so that nobody's really losing out. So it's not like, oh, why don't I just pay money just to do this, or pay money just to get this character? Instead, we want to really balance that out, so it's like I don't feel like I'm losing out because I'm not part of the NFT crew or I'm not knowledgeable about NFTs. We want this to be really nice and accessible.
Yeah, exactly. It's about
And Arknights,
accessibility.
yeah, we're also getting inspiration from Arknights.
Oh, you have the comment section open, I see.
Yeah, someone.
Yeah,
Yeah, you gotta watch.
yeah, exactly. And honestly, it touched on, or both, all of you guys touched on something that I think is absolutely crucial. Is you touched on interoperability and accessibility, and to each one of you guys' points, yeah, sometimes the onboarding process for crypto and for play to earn games can be a very strenuous process. Like for instance, if you don't know anything about crypto or about play to earn gaming and you try to access even a title like Axie Infinity, you need to know about MetaMask at the very least. You need to know about Ronin Network. You need to know about NFTs. And it creates a lot of different barriers to entry for even people who are just interested in playing the game, as you mentioned, maybe people that aren't necessarily interested in blockchain. It puts up a lot of barriers to entry and it doesn't exactly enable mass adoption when you have all of these different pillars that you have to knock down in order to just access the game and just get to that endpoint. So I like that you guys touched on that accessibility aspect of it all. That was something that actually got me really excited when I was reading the white paper initially is, okay, these guys are doing everything they can to make that user experience the main priority and as seamless as possible. And like you mentioned, just a 1 minute onboarding period, and then people can go on their merry way and just start playing the game. Knocks down all those barriers to entry. So I like what you guys are doing on that front. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about the token here. Obviously, we are here to promote the IDO. That's happening tomorrow, 3 p.m. UTC, for those who do not know. I want to talk about the token. I want to talk about the utility of the token. So, Kenny, I'll start with you. Let's talk about the Remnant Labs token, REMN, I believe. What is the utility for this token, and how are users going to be enabled to earn it while on your platform?
Yeah, so the REM token is our main utility token in the Remnant ecosystem. And I'll go through a list of utilities for it. We actually have a lot of utilities for a token. That's something we've noticed with a lot of projects. They're missing utility with their token. So first of all, you can stake it to gain shards over time. So not only do you get Remnant APY over time, you get our secondary currency called shards. And shards is the in-game premium currency. So you can think of it like any normal app store currency. If you play any app games, you're going to notice they have diamonds, gems. That is synonymous to shards. With shards, you can purchase pretty much everything in game. So the characters, the items, packages, loot boxes, and whatnot, costume skins, and you can also choose to lock Remnant tokens while staking for 14 days, 30 days, 90 days, or 180 days for a bonus multiplier. So that has also been audited by etherauthority.io. We've completed the audit. You can check it in our white paper as well. So we will be able to have the staking up ready by launch, and users can start earning right away. Now, it's also used, the Remnant token is also used in one-time sale events. So we have our tin box collections and our avatars coming up. So our tin box collections, every tin box has 10 Alter Genesis game characters inside it. And our avatars, on the other hand, are the protagonists, the main characters of the ecosystem. They're completely optional, but they give additional perks in the ecosystem, such as reduced fees and monthly drops of game characters. So the Remnant token, you can spend it to partake in these one-time sale events of the tin box collections and the avatars. So those sales will take place mostly in Ethereum, but then there's also a portion in Remnant tokens. Now, our characters are dynamic and upgradable. So the Alter Genesis characters, our first set is the 8 student characters. You can view them on our website. I've noticed we haven't mentioned our website yet. So anyone who wants to visit it is remnant.gg. And you can see our characters there. And these characters can be upgraded using Remnant tokens. Now, when you upgrade them, their farm power increases, allowing you to earn more Remnant tokens. However, their strength is not going to be increasing. So this creates a fair, balanced playing field with other players as well. So if you want your characters to get stronger, you're going to be having to play through the game. And Remnant token is also used in every game title we have. So right now we're working on the Trials and Alter Genesis, and we will be branching on in the long term with more titles. So each title is going to have a few use cases for the Remnant token, such as changing your username or buying a cool frame border for your avatar or for your profile picture or cosmetic items. And we also have a system called the Tree of Prosperity. This is our raffle-like system. So it runs every week, and you can purchase leaves, which is the equivalent of raffle tickets. And you have a chance to get the relic tier Alter Genesis character. That's the highest tier in our ecosystem. Every week we have the jackpot relic tier up for raffles, and someone's guaranteed to win that. And everyone's a winner in this system. So even if you don't get the jackpot, what you will get is shards. So what's the easiest way for you to get shards, which allows you to play the game and earn characters? The easiest way is to either stake Remnant tokens and gain it over time gradually, or purchase raffle tickets and gain a quick bunch of shards there. And you can also hold or stake a specific amount of Remnant tokens. So if you hold 1,000,000 Remnant tokens and you're staking 2,000,000, you have 3,000,000 in total. And that allows you to be eligible for specific player title perks. So you can see all of that information in depth on our white paper as well. And lastly, we do have a governance voting system that we're setting up. Now, this governance voting is for game balance. So people will be able to use the Remnant tokens to vote on what game features they want to see next, or what balance changes they'd like to see to maybe some overpowered or undertuned characters. So it's sort of community built during the alpha and beta stages. As a game developer, I've been a game developer for actually 15 years now, and what I've noticed in the past is it's really good to take community input in terms of these competitive games where there's money at stake, of course, to reach a fair balance. And that's what we're going to be doing. So we're community built. And that's it for the Remnant utilities.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that, Kenneth. Now, John, I have a question from the audience here. I want to throw this at you. Academia de Play to Earn. This is your question. You are winning a whitelist spot. Please make sure you drop your Twitter handle down in the comment section below. They just want to know, what are those shards? So we've talked about shards a little bit being an in-game only currency, but I don't know if I quite caught that. Apologies if I missed it. Is shards an off-chain currency? Is it an on-chain currency? And what will ultimately be the use case for shards within the game as an in-game currency?
So shards is an off-chain currency. So Remnant is our cryptocurrency, but shards acts as our current, like, you know how when you play like these mobile apps, you get like gems or gold or stuff like in-game rewards. There is a potential that we might put it on chain, but nothing like expensive like Ethereum for sure. So there is a possible chance like maybe it would go on Polygon, something that's like very low cost, because like these shards aren't actually, it's similar to SLP, right? That other what's their game?
Yeah, Axie Infinity.
Axie,
yeah,
the
Axie.
secondary token
Yeah,
for Axie, right?
SLP. Yeah. So potential for that to be on chain, but as for now, it will be off chain. You'll be able to stake and gain shards over time. You can lock them for 14, 30, kind of similar to what you'd see for like cryptocurrency staking, but this would be off-chain staking done through our own backend database. You can also, yeah, as Kenny mentioned, you can buy like cosmetic items with that stuff. Shards. Actually, wait, was that Remnant tokens, Kenny? Can you buy cosmetics with shards or Remnant tokens, or is it just shards?
It would be mostly shards. So Remnant tokens is only for one-time, like really special sale events.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, additionally, for shards to go on chain, we would have to do a security audit for that. So
Right.
That's just another thing, but mostly like the gamified stuff that we are going to do with Remnant Labs, that stuff will be used with shards.
Okay.
Yeah, and to just clarify there, so the reason we have shards as the intermediary token, well, it's not really a token, but the currency, is so we can have a seamless onboarding of both traditional gamers and crypto gamers. So this is the bridge between the two, and since we're targeting mass adoption between both communities, crypto communities, play to earn, profile picture communities, and also traditional gamers moving into the future. So there is potential for it to be a token in future, pending our security audit, since it is a bridge between a traditional sort of digital currency and an actual cryptocurrency. So we take our security very seriously. So that's going to take at least a while. Maybe in Q3, Q4, we're going to look into potentially backing our shards with a token equivalent.
Okay, perfect. Thanks for that. Yeah, that model is something that a lot of people in the ChainGuardians or the ChainBoost community might be familiar with. That was originally the intention with ChainGuardians, is we were going to operate on kind of that on-chain currency for our governance token and then off-chain currency for our in-game token. Recently announced a switch to more of just an on-chain base model only, but it is something that a lot of people in our community are familiar with. And as you mentioned, people in the traditional space are familiar with it as well. Just kind of having that in-game currency, you can't extract any kind of value from it. You keep it within the game, you use it just in the game. It does kind of help with that transition from maybe someone who's not familiar with play-to-earn gaming, blockchain gaming to begin with, getting more into the on-chain aspect and that play-to-earn, kind of having that intermediary in-game token only. But I do like that you guys touched on the security aspect, because yes, it is important if you are looking at potentially moving this token from more of an off-chain model onto on-chain, and whether it's Ethereum, Polygon, BNB chain, security is of the utmost importance. So I do like that you talked about that, going through a very thorough audit process. It is important ultimately for the security of the token, and there have been different exploits in DeFi lately as far as bridges or different play to earns. So it's something that a lot of people are paying attention to, especially now after those different circumstances. So I do like that you touched on that. Now, John, I do want to ask you, just real quick, I imagine the off-chain and the on-chain interaction between shards and Remnant, I can imagine that's a little bit challenging from a programming standpoint, right? Being the lead game dev, there's a lot of different intricacies with that, aren't there?
Yes. The way we handle this is a lot of stuff from the website end. So Web3, right now it's a lot more secure with the Web3 to website like interaction, because you can actually like sign stuff with your MetaMask wallet. So if you were to say purchase shards using Remnant tokens, likely we'd start off doing that in the website, or maybe completely. Security obviously still very important for us, so we can't exactly say if it would be safe to even be able to purchase like shards in the game right now. But we do know one thing, and that is that it would be safe to buy like shards using Remnant tokens on the website because of the MetaMask like signing aspect there. So a lot of our things will definitely, and just to reiterate the shards aspect, like that stuff would be saved onto the database.
Yeah.
And then when you load up the game, there's a interaction between the game and the database, and that is how the game will know your player profile, that kind of stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of things that we've considered over the last, well, probably since like June, about the security of how the game can interact with the cryptocurrency, or how the game can interact with the database, like the back end of our website. And usually it comes down to like the website backend, and the cryptocurrency side is generally safer in like almost every way. So most of the interactions are going to go through that, and then our game will interact with the website.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for clarifying that. Now, I do have one more question from the community. Whoever's kind of equipped to answer this question, by all means, feel free. We do have one question. I believe it's from Eric. Yes, Eric Rick. So, Eric, make sure you drop your Twitter handle down in the comment section. You are going to win an IDO whitelist spot for this. They are asking, is alpha launch going to be available for everybody? So when the game goes live, is it going to be available for everybody? Is it just for token holders, IDO holders? Maybe you've touched on this before, but I do want to make sure we clarify it for the audience here.
Yeah, so the alpha, which is coming next week to the end of the month, last week of April, is going to be the closed alpha first, and that's going to be available for all of our IDO participants, all of our gaming guild partners, and then immediately after that is going to be our open alpha, and it might be in the same week even. So the difference is just a few days. So everyone's going to be able to play the alpha most likely within the April timeframe, if not the start of May.
I also don't believe we have announced that, so that's your little exclusive take. But we had an internal discussion because we kind of wanted to get players hands on in the game
Yeah.
before the IDO, but we are looking to do that, and we'll have an official announcement on all our socials once we can really confirm like specifics on that.
Okay, perfect. So anybody who is interested in participating in the IDO, you just got the alpha right here. If you do participate in the IDO, you will have access to the closed alpha for the game. Investigative journalism at its finest. Thanks, guys. All right, MW, I got a question here. I do want to come to this one for you. We've touched a little bit on the trials so far today, but I don't think we've dove too deep into it. For anybody who is wondering, obviously Altered Genesis being the main tower defense game, but what is the trials and what can users expect kind of going forward with the trials here?
Yeah, yeah. So Alter Genesis, like you mentioned before, is the main game. So that would be most of the canon lore. Uh, Whereas the trials, think about it kind of like an offset or like kind of a side story.
Hmm.
Not really too canon, but it does use some of the characters as a way to provide some context for what you're doing, right? So the trials itself, it's like a monthly sort of game where we provide different mini games. The mini games could vary dramatically, where it could be like a 3D platformer, maybe. Oh, hold on, that's something upcoming, but you heard it here. Anyways, but it could be stuff like a bullet hell, right? So you got to dodge, you got to avoid like any bullets, try to make it to the very end without getting hit. There is some other puzzles that we are working on as well. So this could be, well, I don't know the actual name of this sort of mini game. It's like the one where you move the bricks around and you try to slide it to the end, stuff like that. And we're trying to keep it as relevant to the lore as possible while providing a way for players to keep coming back, right? We're providing some sort of incentive to continue playing games, compete with your fellow professor in these mini games because we even have a leaderboard that players can compete like, or compare with each other.
Awesome. Okay, so you mentioned it can kind of coincide with the main story of the game, but ultimately a little bit more like a side mission that may or may not allude to different things in the works for
Yeah,
Remnant in the future.
exactly. There might be some like little hidden lore Easter eggs here and there, but it's not directly like canon. So it's mostly just for gameplay and just to really boost that community cooperation. So there might be a certain puzzle that somebody might not get. We will try to not spoil said puzzle, but I feel like it'll have some sort of a positive sort of reinforcement in regards to community growth and just communication in general, right? We notice that there's a lot of camaraderie when it comes to playing these sort of games. For example, we had this one puzzle which we took inspiration from Pokemon. Some people didn't really get, some people immediately understood, right?
Mm.
And that sort of connection there, I feel like, is really valuable with this sort of design that we got going on.
Yeah, I agree. And you touched on the community engagement aspect. I imagine that different platforms like Telegram or specifically Discord, once these Easter eggs or these small little potential pieces of alpha or different puzzles, things that maybe people didn't catch the first time around or haven't gotten a chance to get to, I imagine they pop into the Discord as soon as somebody finds it in that Discord. They type it
Yes,
in, tell everybody, and then everybody's like, "Oh, I got to go seek that out." It adds another layer to the engagement levels and the different interactions that people can ultimately have on your platform. Is, oh, I'm not just playing the game, but especially when I'm playing the trials, these different kinds of mini games, I got to keep my wits about me, and I might have to like keep a watchful
engage.
eye for different
Yeah,
things that maybe I wasn't looking for, but just stumbled upon.
Yeah, that was something we tried out, and we were really satisfied with the results, especially with our recent season that we had. And immediately people started flooding the Discord. They're like, "Oh my God, what do I do? Did I miss something? Hey, this button isn't working. Am I doing something wrong?" So it was really wholesome to observe.
Oh, I bet. All right, I got a question from the chat here. Polly, who's been one of our most active people today, um, they're asking about mini games and they're asking about rewards specifically. Maybe it's something we've touched on, but I want to make sure we call this out. How does Remnant Labs plan to distribute rewards amongst mini games? Is there a specific mini game that people can earn the most, or yeah, I guess they're asking just about rewards for mini games. So how is that process going to work?
So
Yeah.
generally, from Kenny, did you wanna?
You can start, and I will follow up.
Okay, so most of it would be just the engagement with the game itself, right? So this kind of really kind of fights against the bots where they just partake and they try to reap some rewards. In this case, we're trying to really have or ask for some sort of engagement with the game, right? So rather than just you jumping in, getting a minimum score, then leaving, you're most likely going to get rewards when you actually place in maybe the top. I don't know, I'm going to give you an arbitrary number, top like 100, top 10, right? We want that engagement. We want to reward people who are invested with our games. And regards to the rewards, it could range dramatically in the future. As of now, it's like alterations for your NFT avatar, shards, and some other extra stuff that we're working on.
Yes, exactly. So with the trials mini games, you can actually access it right now. Season one's still live for the next few hours before we put up season two.
Ooh,
The leaderboards is for each mini game and also the overall performance. So we have a top 10 leaderboard for each mini game out of the three mini games that are live right now. So if you score in the top 10 for any of those three, you're going to be eligible for larger rewards. So that includes uh, our tin boxes that we have coming up, our whitelists for the avatars, and also a few free avatars, and also remnant tokens or shards and cosmetic changes to your avatars, like MW said. So moving forward, you're gonna see the leaderboards for season two have the same structure. So overall performance top 30, and then each specific level top 10 gets extra rewards. Now, if you're not in the leaderboards, you still win shards and other small prizes. And there's also a random chance of some people who cleared everything and did not get on the leaderboards to win large prizes. It's just that if you're on the leaderboards, your prizes are um, guaranteed to be bigger prizes, but you can still win large prizes if you're lucky.
okay.
And yeah, the point of the trial rewards is an opportunity to pretty much upgrade or alter your characters, your NFTs. And it brings back community engagement every month since it is a monthly recurring event.
Okay, perfect. So I like that you guys or that you touched on upgrading NFTs. I think that's super cool when people have the opportunity to upgrade their characters in game like that. So thank you for touching on that. Now, I do only have one more question here, and then I want to get more into some community questions. Guys, if you don't know, the way that we typically do these live streams is over the first part of the live stream, we do give out whitelisting spots for people that ask questions. In this next portion, we are going to be giving away some stable coins, some cash prizes, BUSD. So if you have any questions for the Remnant team, make sure that you drop it in the comment section now, so that way we can get to those questions after this. Guys, I do want to ask before we get more into those kind of community oriented questions, what's next for Remnant Labs after the IDO? You touched on the alpha or the closed alpha and the open alpha being available within the next week or two here, but for the remainder of this quarter or the remainder of the year, what's going to be going on at Remnant Labs? What's on your roadmap coming up here?
Kenny, I can take this one and you can follow up if you like.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So if you look at the roadmap on our website, it pretty much goes till June. So that's what we'll be talking about for now. I'm sure there's going to be an update to that roadmap to extend for the rest of the year, and then maybe a little bit of 2023. But for now, we're just going to stick to what's kind of closer. So we have there's a few collections of NFTs that we have. So we have the avatars, the Remnant avatars. That's like our main VIP one. That's going to be our first NFT release that we do. Um, those will have those are our most exclusive NFTs, and they'll have the best perks. If you want to read the perks, it's listed in our white paper, which you can find on our website, which I believe was posted in the chat a little while ago. We also, after the Remnant avatars, we have the Alter Genesis NFT collection, and these avatars aren't. They're not purchased in a way like a regular sale would be. So these are like indirect kind of um, like and also just to specify, these are the characters in game. So like when you see our current gameplay, these are the characters that are killing the enemies. Okay, just to be specific with that. And they're obtained like there's many ways to actually obtain these. So you can obtain them by playing the Alter Genesis Tower Defense. Certain rewards that you get, you'll be able to use to get more of those NFTs. You can also get them through the trials. So trial rewards, some trial rewards that we have might include certain NFTs for the Alter Genesis collection. There'll also be secondary market purchases like OpenSea. So I believe Alter Genesis is going to be on Polygon. So OpenSea will be available for that. Also our own marketplace that we will have.
Nice.
They'll be able to get them through there. And one of our other NFT collections is the Tin Box NFT collections, and that will be that they will function as loot boxes, which I'm sure most people are familiar with, and that will give you access to some of the most exclusive Alter Genesis characters. Those ones are definitely ones to look out for. Tin Box's NFT collection, that will be further in, so probably expect it like May, June time. Let's see, I think, oh yes, Tree of Prosperity. So that is one of the other events that we will be doing. Not a lot information on that in the roadmap, but essentially it will be like a weekly raffle, and that's another way to obtain Alter Genesis NFTs. Some of the raffle items might include Alter Genesis NFTs. Let's see if I touched all of it. There's a lot of ways to get Alter Genesis NFTs. That's also part of the onboarding, getting ease of access, getting people into it. So so as we kind of leaked earlier today, the tower defense. So we do have we currently have a version almost ready, and that's why we were actually going to push the timeline forward. So originally we were looking at May, June to have the first hands-on experience, but we decided that we could actually provide that experience much earlier than anticipated. So we are hoping to do something with this in April, and obviously though we're going to tier the amount of players at once. So having people who are on the IDO, it's kind of like a much easier way to say like, okay, well, if you participate in IDO, then you're like whitelisted essentially. So
yeah.
Eventually everyone will get to play it, but it's much easier if we can reduce the players early on. So just did see some people a little upset with the country lock that we have. So just know that you will get to try it. We just need to reduce the amount of people playing it early on. So
yeah, and just to clarify real quick for anybody who might have seen that earlier, the the closed alpha only for IDO participants and a few others, but it sounds like the open alpha is going to be available very, very shortly after for people who aren't able to participate in the IDO because of these country restrictions, correct?
Yeah, it could be. It really depends how much stuff we have to fix or change or balance. What we decide to add. So it could be a week after. It could be 2 weeks. We just at this point it would be a lot easier to do the first alpha hands-on and then communicate the next opening for that. The one other thing that we have listed on the roadmap is a land sale. So we do have plans for a land sale, but we need there's more internal discussions that need to take place before we release public information on that. So no alpha for that one, okay?
Oh no, I failed everybody.
Yeah. So hopefully when we get to maybe around May, hopefully we can get more information on a land sale in May.
Okay, perfect. Thanks for that. And Kenneth, I think you had something that you wanted to add, maybe?
Yeah. So we'll take it one step at a time. The NFT avatars or character avatars coming first, then the tin boxes, then we'll talk more about the land in May or June. And it will have very close implications to the in-game economy, and there's going to be a lot of utility for it as well. And going a little bit further into the roadmap, besides these NFTs and what's happening in the first 1, 2, 3 months there, Q3, Q4, we're going to be moving our game towards beta, and that's when we have the PvP or guild versus guild aspects. So right now our game is completely PvE, player versus environment. You go through the various levels we have. Each level is a quick 3 to 5 minute gameplay where you deploy your towers and there's enemy waves coming. You stop them from reaching the destination. And moving towards Q3, Q4, what we're trying to implement is a guild school system where players will be able to create schools and invite others or request to join another school. So for example, if there's another community, say the ChainGuardians, ChainBoost community, they can start up the ChainGuardian, ChainBoost guild if they wanted and invite fellow members. And you would have weekly raids within the guild. So within the guild, you can go through specific guild exclusive levels and earn a scoring on that. So you work together to achieve a high score. And that is something that runs every week or every other week. And you will be able to earn more remnant rewards in this PvP guild versus guild aspect than the player versus environment aspect. So one thing we've noted with a lot of the tokenomics of other play-to-earn games is that they're not sustainable. So for example, even Axie Infinity is not immune to this. We've noted that the SOP price has crashed significantly because of the so the SOP has been issuing too many SOPs, and in the play to I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. The PvE aspect. Yeah. So the SOP was giving away too much, so they've moved it to the PvP. So that's what we're doing as well.
Yeah, there have been a few different people in the space that have commented a lot on just the inflationary aspect of SLP and how, obviously putting massive amounts of tokens into circulation all at one time, obviously that can have an effect on, token price to an extent. So yeah, there have been a lot of people that have commented on that as far as a sustainability model. So I do like that you guys are keeping that in mind as well as you're moving forward. Is just making sure that ultimately you aren't having these massive waves of inflation. You are taking the long-term sustainability of the game and of the project into account as you guys are moving forward. So I do like that you're touching on that.
Thank you.
All right, that is all the questions that I have. We do we do have a few minutes left here, probably about 5 or 10 minutes. I want to get to a couple of community questions before we sign off. Again, for those who don't know, these are for cash prizes. So if you have questions, drop them down below. Now, gentlemen, do any of you guys have the YouTube chat open? Do you see any questions in the chat that you want to touch on before we sign off here today? Now, I do understand if there are, certain legal implications for things that people are asking you, and you can't talk about things, by all means, don't worry about that. But if you see some questions, maybe about something that we haven't got the chance to talk about yet, that you want to make sure you call out, go ahead and call out the question. Let me know who it is so we can get their Twitter information. And yeah, we'll make sure that we get some answers for everybody here.
Yeah, I do see this one question by Brian Zilla, 2133. Their question is, will there be events where lore or story is involved? And the answer is yes. I'm taking a lot of inspiration from games such as Fate, Genshin, and like Arknights, and like all these other games where the events in particular, there's going to be a lot of shenanigans sometimes going on. I have a couple in mind where we might further delve into new characters or maybe older characters that we already presented to you today. So I have a couple that involve Luyetta. There's a particular event I have in mind with her. It's still going through the process right now, just trying to figure out what I could go, where I could go with that, and trying to balance shenanigans versus character development. But we are taking a lot of inspiration from a lot of those gacha games where, um, your traditional sort of farming and story tidbits here and there will be involved.
I'm not going to lie. I am very happy that you said two specific words, character development. Especially for me as someone who's just a major TV nut, especially when it's infused into gaming, proper character development, personally speaking, it's something that I absolutely love to see. So I like that you touched on trying to balance not sustainability. That's the last topic, but character development with shenanigans and making the game fun, but ultimately also driving forward the characters, different arcs and lore. So I do like that.
Exactly. I feel like that's really important to really provide not just intrinsic value for the characters, because it's always great for that sort of thing, but just to really appreciate these characters as a whole. I feel like a lot of games are starting to miss that now. It's like quantity over quality. Now sometimes the art might be really good, but then it's like, okay, that's it, right? There's no like further speculation. There's no added depth to the character. It just feels a little hollow. But that's where we're starting to delve into other things, which I won't bring up right now. But in the base game, I am planning to add little arcs, little bond levels where you can actually show your character, because the player plays as like the protagonist, as like the professor, and trying to have these little mini arcs with each of the individual characters. So not just Luyetto, like you got Stefan, you got Elka. You're gonna see your development with them, see what makes them click, maybe some quirks to them, right? And just trying to make them lovable, trying to make them like characters.
Nice. So not only absolutely high quality, world class art, which a couple of people have called out in our comment section today. I love to see it. But also engaging in immersive storytelling within each character. Absolutely love to see it.
We are planning to do a lot more world building as well in the future. Right now, I just got to watch my budget because I'm kind of stepping over the line here with Kenny. Kenny's like, "Yo, you gotta watch how much you're spending." I'm like, "Okay, we'll see." But world building, we are planning to do a lot. We have some concept art in the works right now. I am planning to do a lot of monster designs. First, I got to find some concept artists. So the job listing. But we are talking to all sorts of people. We're talking to like artists around the world. We've even contracted a senior UI artist right now. And right now we're learning so much from them. So yeah.
Nice.
Development, guys.
Development.
It's crazy.
All right. I got a question from someone in the chat here. A lot of the ChainBoost and ChainGuardians community is probably familiar with a gentleman by the name of Reminiscent. So Reminiscent, please make sure you drop your Twitter handle down below, as well as Brian. Reminiscent is asking about availability for the token post IDO. I believe they reside in an IDO restricted country. They're asking when the Remnant token will be available for purchase and where it might be available. So I guess what they're asking for is TGE date and where they might be able to find the token on just any given centralized exchange, decentralized exchange. I believe the TGE is on April 28th. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But after TGE, where will people be able to find the token?
Yeah, so Reminiscent, the TGE is going to be April 29th, just to correct you there. And afterwards, so after the 29th, the distribution, all the IDO members will receive their tokens. We will be doing a Uniswap listing, most likely the day following, so April 30th, if nothing goes wrong. And if something comes up, we'll let you know immediately. It'll be May 6th latest. So you'll be able to receive the tokens through Uniswap, and also on the Polygon side, QuakeSwap. You can receive it either on Ethereum chain or Polygon chain. And we're also in talks with exchanges at the moment, and we can give more information on that in the following weeks.
Oh yeah, if you're already in talks with centralized exchanges but nothing's official, we don't need to talk about that. Yeah, we can leave that as a surprise for everybody. But in case you guys didn't catch that, on Ethereum, Remnant token will be available on Uniswap, and then on Polygon, I think you said QuakeSwap, correct?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, guys, we have time for, I believe, one more question from the community. If you have the comment box open on YouTube, go ahead and shout one out. Let me know. And let me know who the winner is, so that way we can get in contact with them after the stream is over. So, John, MW, Kenny, do you see any questions from the chat that you like?
I was going to do one from Reminiscent, but you already picked him, so I'm going to find another one.
Hey, he can't win twice. Sorry, Reminiscent.
Yeah.
But if it's a good question and something that's important that we need to talk about, by all means, we can talk about it.
I can speak on it while we find another one.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, so he was saying it's hard to imagine how these NFTs operate within the game. I think others have already asked this, but any chance there could be a demo showing one of y'all using one of the NFTs in the game? So we don't currently have any footage of using the NFTs in the game. However, the player that you play as, so you yourself are going to be the Remnant avatar. So that NFT is essentially who you are in our suite of games. The characters that we use, so the Altered Genesis NFTs, those are the towers in the game killing the enemies. So that's like kind of how it will work. I don't think now for getting gameplay on like loading up an NFT and showing that like in the game, we don't have that yet. That will come probably. I would say maybe around May or June, once we could like show that kind of work. So no current videos on that. Do you guys have any? Did you find any questions?
Yeah, so to follow up on that, if you go to our website, remnant.gg, the video at the very top homepage is the gameplay, and that's where the Altered Genesis NFT characters are. They're just not connected to the wallet in that specific demo, and that's what we're working on.
Okay, perfect.
Sorry, and I found a question if you want me to go through the question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good question from Lone Ranger, asking if we have any plans to develop a metaverse and selling plots of land. So we're not necessarily developing a metaverse per se, but it is like an entire Remnant world. So I guess you could call it a metaverse because it is sort of interoperable within our tiles. However, yes, we are selling these plots of land, and they're not just for any singular game. This land is part of the entire Remnant universe. So it has implications to every Remnant title. And that's what I can drop in terms of information with our metaverse or land development there.
Okay, perfect. All right, guys, that about wraps up all of the time that we have for audience questions. Now, I do want to give each of you guys the floor. Is there anything that we didn't get a chance to talk about during today's live stream that you want to share with the community? Any kind of final thoughts here before we sign off for the IDO tomorrow?
I got something. I just want to say that I think the niche that we have, crypto tower defense, super powerful because I think we're gonna win it, and then hopefully once I am a competitive person, so I want our game to be the best crypto tower defense out there. Um, Additionally, once we get it to a good level, probably let's say outside of beta, we are hoping that it'll be at a high tier level of gameplay that it will be competitive with the entire tower defense genre. So games like Arc Knights, Bloons Tower. I think we can beat Bloons Tower Defense pretty easily, but Arc Knights has a lot more complex gameplay uh, that we're looking to compete with. So we want to be the very best, as some would say.
Yeah, I agree with that. And with the tower defense, it's made a comeback as a genre as a whole because of Web3 browser gaming and mobile gaming.
All right, perfect. MW, any final thoughts here before we sign off?
Ooh, oh man, I'm kind of flustered right now. I'm trying to wrap my mind around this. Uh, Honestly, just really thinking about what to do next is the most exciting part of this whole endeavor. Um, since I mostly focus on the art and whatnot, like I have sky's the limit. Well, sky's not the limit, but uh, I'm just excited for future development that we have currently going on at our studio, like in terms of like gameplay, other crypto stuff, and just for me to be able to build this whole sort of universe that we're planning on making. It's just exciting and whatnot. So nothing here for me. I'm just kind of baffled. That's all I have to say. I'm just excited that we get a chance to just talk about the game. We could be a little bit unprofessional here and there, but yeah, I'm enjoying this AMA.
Okay, perfect. And one question that was just asked in the chat from Reminiscent, I guess someone who wants to stay in touch with your community, who wants to keep on engaging, are you more active on Telegram or Discord? If someone wants to engage in the community, what would be the best spot for them to do so?
I would
Yeah,
say,
yeah. So we are currently more active on the Telegram, but the team themselves, the development team, is much more active on the Discord. So if you want to talk to us directly, that would be through Discord. If you want to talk with the community, that would be on Telegram. But we're focusing shifting towards Discord going forward since that is like the gaming platform and it's easier to track the history, the chat logs and whatnot, and do gameplay update posts in separated channels.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, knowing this specific user, he's definitely going to be interested in talking to you a lot, John, as the lead game dev. So I imagine they're going to want to tune into the Discord just to make sure that they're able to engage with you guys. But to touch on something that you guys talked about as well, you want to come into the space and you want to kill it as the premium tower defense game in the space. And me personally, I'm much more of an FPS guy myself. I like my first-person shooters. In addition to some kind of open-world games, I've talked about South Park: The Stick of Truth before, shamelessly on this live stream. So, but I have talked to a few people within our community and on the ChainBoost team as well, just about tower defense games. And the instant reaction from this particular person was tower defense games are addicting. And it's just something that you can play for hours and hours and hours on end. So, goes back to something I've talked about on our channel plenty of times before is, people are looking for that for different kinds of games that they're able to engage with, that they can play for long periods of time and not get bored with. And if tower defense games are something that can be addicting for certain people, then this might just be the game title for them, Remnant Labs. So, guys, if you didn't already know, Remnant Labs IDO, it is going to be happening in less than 24 hours. It starts 3 p.m. UTC tomorrow. Registration is still open, so if you haven't gotten the chance to register, just go to ChainBoost.io, create an account, complete KYC, and you will be able to register for the Remnant Labs IDO happening tomorrow. Gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the live stream. Thank you so much for all the insight, for all the unplanned alpha, I guess, for part of the stream today. But ultimately, having you on the live stream and being able to talk and engage with you guys, it adds so much to the experience. Being able to put a name to the project that people are researching, that they're looking into, they might engage with, and they might start caring about here. So I appreciate you guys taking time out of your busy schedule. I know, especially pre-alpha, probably a little bit short on time. So taking an hour here and there, it can be challenging. So again, appreciate you guys coming on to the live stream today and chatting with the ChainBoost community. Thank you a ton.
Thank you,
Thanks
Ryan.
for grabbing us.
No, thank you for your time.
All right, guys. IDO in less than 24 hours on ChainBoost.io. And if you like the ChainBoost live streams that we do, you won't have to wait too long for the next one. We have one coming up here shortly, but a little bit more of a surprise. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining ChainBoost community. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time. Take care.
Hey.
注がれた光の雨瞳に映ったこの世界を守るため立ち向かうそれは心もやチェンガーディアンセットネオンライトが市街の隅でまた霞み始めてる決意揺らぎそうでも閉ざされた空その鍵を壊せばそう握られた刃はまだ持て余されて加速する共鳴が言霊を脈打たせてくあがと注がれた光の雨瞳に映ったこの世界を守るため決意
と来続ける
憎しみや恨みを生んでしまうのかもしれない正解のない世界に苦しんでそれでも受け止め我らは叫ばなければいけないと心が熱い思い描いた自由への象形僕のエゴであろう君の願いであろうそうでもなめることもあれと悔いやくなれることもいつの日か的な信じたのは一輪の花
触れてくれてその時に
あがいてもがいて涙もやみながらも恋の中にわずか輝くそれをその手に掴み取り勝ち取るためには
また立ち上がる
思い描いた自由への勝利的な僕の血肉となり君の魂となりそうだよなめることはあれと悔いやくなれることもいつの日か的な愛が咲かせが大輪の花永遠の中で掴んだ未来を注がれた光の雨瞳に映ったこの世界を守るため立ち向かうそれは心のやせがやせネオンライトが市街の隅でまた霞み始めてる決意揺らぎそうでも閉ざされた空その鍵を